Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other socials for more. Enjoy. Welcome to the Grand Plaza Hotel, the receptionist greeted with a warm smile. How may I assist you today? Rain fumbled with the strap of her purse, her voice coming out softer than intended. I have a reservation under the name Rain Thompson. The receptionist's fingers flew across the keyboard. Ah, yes, I see it here. Room 1204, with a city view. Here's your key card. Enjoy your stay. Rain nodded gratefully and made her way to the elevators. As the doors closed, she caught a glimpse of her reflection in the mirrored walls. The person staring back was a stranger and yet familiar all at once. Long chestnut hair framed a face carefully made up with subtle cosmetics. A floral blouse and skinny jeans completed the ensemble. The elevator dinged, and Rain stepped out onto the 12th floor. She found her room and slipped inside, breathing a sigh of relief as the door clicked shut behind her. The room was spacious and modern, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city. Rain set her luggage down and sank onto the plush king-sized bed. Her fingers trembled slightly as she pulled out her phone, opening her email app. There it was, the message she'd been waiting for. Her breath caught in her throat as she read the words. Dear Rain, I hope this email finds you well. I understand the journey you're on, and I want you to know that you're not alone. There's a whole community here ready to welcome you with open arms. When you're ready, we'd love to meet you. Warmest regards, Emma. Tears pricked at the corners of Rain's eyes. For so long, she'd felt isolated and misunderstood. But now, halfway across the country, a lifeline had appeared. She clutched the phone to her chest, allowing herself a moment to feel the emotions washing over her. After composing herself, Rain decided a shower was in order. The hot water cascaded over her, washing away the stress of travel. As steam filled the bathroom, she closed her eyes and let her mind wander. For the first time in a long while, she felt a glimmer of hope for the future. Wrapped in a fluffy hotel robe, Rain stood before the mirror, studying her reflection. She ran a hand through her damp hair, marveling at how natural it felt. The face staring back at her was becoming more familiar with each passing day. You've got this, she whispered to her reflection, mustering up a smile. Feeling refreshed, Rain dressed in comfortable clothes, a soft sweater in a rich burgundy and dark wash jeans. She slipped on a pair of ankle boots and grabbed her purse, deciding to explore the city. The moment she stepped onto the sidewalk, Rain was engulfed by the urban symphony. Car horns blared, people chattered, and the rhythmic thud of footsteps created a cacophony of city life. She took a deep breath, inhaling the scents of nearby food carts and car exhaust. As she walked, Rain couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at the towering structures surrounding her. Skyscrapers stretched impossibly high, their sleek designs a testament to human ingenuity. Yet as she craned her neck to take in the view, a wave of vertigo washed over her. The buildings seemed to loom closer, their imposing presence suddenly oppressive. Rain's heart began to race, her palms growing clammy. The noise of the city intensified, becoming a roar in her ears. She quickened her pace, desperate to escape the concrete jungle closing in around her. Breathe, she reminded herself, trying to calm her frayed nerves. Just breathe. Rain's eyes darted around, searching for an escape. In the distance, she spotted a flash of green, a park, an oasis amidst the urban sprawl. With newfound determination, she made her way towards it, weaving through the crowds of people. As she entered the park, the cacophony of the city faded, replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and chirping of birds. Rain's shoulders relaxed as she breathed in the fresh air. The grassy field before her stretched out invitingly, dotted with trees and flower beds. Rain found an empty bench and sank onto it, allowing the peaceful atmosphere to wash over her. She closed her eyes, focusing on the feeling of the sun on her face and the breeze in her hair. Slowly, the tension began to ebb from her body. When she opened her eyes again, something caught her attention. A glint in the grass nearby, reflecting the afternoon sun. Curiosity piqued. Rain stood and made her way over to investigate. There, nestled in the grass, was a delicate bracelet. Its silver chain sparkled, adorned with tiny charms that tinkled softly as Rain lifted it. She held it up to the light, admiring the craftsmanship. Each charm seemed to tell a story. A miniature heart, a tiny key, a diminutive butterfly. How beautiful, Rain murmured, running her finger along the chain. As she held the bracelet, a strange sensation began to wash over her. It started as a tingling in her fingertips, spreading up her arms and throughout her body. Rain gasped, her eyes widening as the feeling intensified. The world around her seemed to blur, colors swirling together like a kaleidoscope. Rain closed her eyes, overwhelmed by the sensations coursing through her. It felt as if every cell in her body was shifting, rearranging itself into a new configuration. When the dizzying sensation finally subsided, Rain slowly opened her eyes. The park came back into focus, looking exactly as it had before. But something was different. She looked down at her hands, still clutching the bracelet, and gasped. Her hands were smaller, more delicate. The sweater she wore now hung loosely on a frame that was decidedly more feminine. Rain's heart pounded as she tentatively ran her hands over her body. With trembling fingers, she pulled out her phone, using the front-facing camera as a mirror. The face that looked back at her was undeniably female. Softer features, fuller lips, longer lashes. It was as if the person she'd always felt herself to be on the inside had finally manifested on the outside. Tears welled up in Rain's eyes as the realization sank in. This wasn't just cross-dressing anymore. This was a complete transformation. She felt a profound sense of rightness, as if all the pieces of her life had finally clicked into place. "Is this real?" she whispered, her voice higher and softer than before. As if in answer, a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, carrying with it the scent of flowers. Rain closed her eyes, savoring the moment. For the first time in her life, she felt truly at peace with herself. The sound of laughter drew her attention. A group of women had entered the park, chatting animatedly as they spread out a picnic blanket on the grass. Rain watched them, a mixture of longing and uncertainty swirling in her chest. One of the women, a tall blonde with a kind face, noticed Rain sitting alone. She smiled warmly and waved, gesturing for Rain to join them. "Hey there, would you like to join us? We've got plenty of food to share." Rain hesitated for a moment, her old insecurities threatening to resurface. But something about the woman's genuine smile and the welcoming atmosphere of the group gave her courage. She stood, smoothing down her sweater, and made her way over to the group. "Hi," Rain said shyly. "I'm Rain. Thank you for inviting me." The blonde woman beamed. "I'm Melissa. It's great to meet you, Rain. Come, sit with us." As Rain settled onto the blanket, the other women introduced themselves. There was Anna, a petite redhead with a mischievous grin, Olivia, a statuesque brunette with kind eyes, and Zoe, a bubbly woman with curly black hair. "So, Rain," Zoe said, passing her a plate of sandwiches, "are you new to the city? I don't think I've seen you around before." Rain nodded, accepting the plate gratefully. "Yes, I just arrived today, actually. I'm starting a new chapter in my life." Olivia leaned in, her eyes sparkling with interest. "Oh, how exciting! What brings you to our fair city?" Rain hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. But something about these women made her feel safe. "I'm here to find myself, I suppose. To become who I've always known I was meant to be." The women exchanged knowing glances, their smiles growing wider. "Well, Rain," Anna said, reaching out to squeeze her hand, "I think you've come to the right place. This city has a way of helping people discover their true selves." Melissa nodded in agreement. "And you've found the right group of friends to help you on that journey. We're all about supporting each other here." Warmth bloomed in Rain's chest at their words. She looked around at the smiling faces surrounding her, feeling a sense of belonging she'd never experienced before. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice thick with emotion. "You have no idea how much that means to me." As the afternoon wore on, Rain found herself laughing and chatting with her new friends as if she'd known them for years. They shared stories, swapped jokes, and offered words of encouragement. With each passing moment, Rain felt more comfortable in her own skin. As the sun began to dip towards the horizon, casting a golden glow over the park, Olivia noticed the bracelet still clutched in Rain's hand. "That's a beautiful bracelet," she remarked. "Is it new?" Rain looked down at the delicate piece of jewelry, a small smile playing on her lips. "I actually just found it here in the park. It's strange, but I feel like it was meant for me to find it." Zoe leaned in, examining the charms. "Oh, how lovely. You know, they say that sometimes the universe has a way of putting exactly what we need in our path at just the right moment." "I think you're right," Rain said softly, running her thumb over the charms. She couldn't bring herself to explain the magical transformation she'd experienced, but she knew in her heart that this bracelet had been the catalyst for her becoming her true self. As the evening approached, the group began to pack up their picnic. Rain felt a pang of sadness, not wanting the magical afternoon to end. "We have a standing girls' night every Friday," Melissa said, sensing Rain's reluctance to leave. "You should join us. We'd love to have you." The other women nodded enthusiastically, echoing the invitation. "I'd love that," Rain replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. As they exchanged phone numbers and made plans, Rain marveled at how much her life had changed in just one day. She'd arrived in this city feeling lost and alone, and now she was surrounded by friends who accepted her for who she truly was. The group walked together to the edge of the park, chatting and laughing. As they prepared to go their separate ways, each of the women hugged Rain goodbye. "Remember," Anna said as she embraced Rain, "you're exactly who you're meant to be. Don't ever let anyone tell you differently." Tears pricked at Rain's eyes as she nodded, too overcome with emotion to speak. As she watched her new friends disappear into the bustling city streets, Rain took a deep breath, savoring the sense of peace and belonging that had settled over her. She looked down at the bracelet in her hand, then slipped it onto her wrist. It fit perfectly, as if it had been made just for her. With a smile on her face and hope in her heart, Rain stepped out of the park and into her new life. The city that had seemed so overwhelming just hours ago now felt full of possibility. She was ready to embrace whatever adventures lay ahead, secure in the knowledge that she was finally, truly herself. As Rain made her way back to her hotel, the city seemed different somehow. The towering buildings that had once felt oppressive now appeared majestic, their lights twinkling like stars in the deepening twilight. The cacophony of urban life had transformed into a symphony, each sound a reminder of the vibrant world she was now a part of. She paused at a crosswalk, waiting for the light to change. A couple walked by, hand in hand, and Rain found herself smiling at them. The woman caught her eye and returned the smile, a simple gesture that filled Rain with warmth. It was as if the city itself was welcoming her, acknowledging her presence as her true self. As she entered the hotel lobby, Rain caught sight of herself in a large mirror. She stopped, taking a moment to really look at her reflection. The person staring back at her was undeniably feminine, but more than that, she looked happy. There was a light in her eyes that hadn't been there before, a confidence in her posture that spoke of inner peace. "Welcome back, miss," the concierge greeted her with a friendly nod. "I hope you had a pleasant afternoon exploring the city." Rain's heart skipped a beat at being addressed as Miss. It felt right, natural. "I did, thank you," she replied, her voice soft but sure. "It is a beautiful city." In the elevator, Rain found herself standing next to an elderly woman who smiled kindly at her. My dear, I must say that color looks lovely on you. It really brings out the warmth in your complexion. Rain blushed, touching the soft fabric of her burgundy sweater. Thank you, she said, her voice filled with genuine appreciation. These small interactions, these moments of being seen and acknowledged as herself, meant more to her than she could express. Back in her room, Rain kicked off her shoes and flopped onto the bed, her mind reeling from the day's events. She held up her wrist, examining the bracelet that had changed everything. In the soft light of the bedside lamp, the charms seemed to glow with an inner light. Rain's phone buzzed with a notification. It was a message from Melissa, sent to the group chat they'd created earlier.
Hey, Rain! Just wanted to check in and make sure you got back to your hotel safely. We had such a great time with you today. Can't wait for girls' night on Friday. A chorus of agreement followed from the other women, along with suggestions for their upcoming get-together. Rain felt a lump form in her throat as she read through the messages. She'd known these women for mere hours, and yet they'd already embraced her so completely. With slightly trembling fingers, Rain typed out a reply. I'm back safe and sound. Thank you all so much for today. You have no idea how much it meant to me. I can't wait for Friday. She hit send and then lay back on the bed, staring up at the ceiling. The events of the day played through her mind like a movie. The anxiety of her arrival, the overwhelming feeling of the city, finding the bracelet, her transformation, and then acceptance. Pure, unconditional acceptance. Rain's eyes drifted to her suitcase, still unpacked from her arrival. She got up and unzipped it, rifling through the contents until she found what she was looking for, a small leather-bound journal. She'd brought it with her on this journey, intending to document her experiences as she explored her identity. Settling back on the bed, Rain opened the journal to a fresh page and began to write. Today, everything changed. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm truly me. The outside finally matches the inside, and it's more wonderful than I ever could have imagined. I found a magical bracelet. I know how that sounds, but it's true, and it transformed me into the woman I've always known I was meant to be. But more than that physical change, I found acceptance. I found friends who see me for who I am and embrace me without question. I found a place where I belong. I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but for the first time, I'm excited to find out. This is the beginning of my true life, and I can't wait to see where it leads. Rain closed the journal, pressing it to her chest for a moment. She felt a profound sense of gratitude wash over her. Gratitude for the bracelet, for her new friends, for this city that had already given her so much. She got up and walked to the window, gazing out at the city lights. The view that had seemed so intimidating earlier now filled her with a sense of possibility. Each twinkling light represented a life, a story, a potential new friend or experience. As she stood there, Rain made a silent promise to herself. She would embrace this new life fully, with all its joys and challenges. She would be brave, be true to herself, and never take for granted the gift she'd been given. With a contented sigh, Rain turned away from the window and began to get ready for bed. As she changed into her pajamas, she marveled at how natural it felt, how right. There was no more pretending, no more hiding. This was who she was, inside and out. She carefully removed the bracelet and placed it on the nightstand, right next to her phone. As she settled into bed, Rain found herself already looking forward to the next day. What new adventures would it bring? What other wonderful people might she meet? As sleep began to claim her, Rain's last thoughts were of gratitude and hope. She drifted off with a smile on her face, eager to greet the dawn and all the possibilities it would bring. The next morning, Rain woke to the soft golden light of sunrise filtering through the curtains. For a moment, she lay still, savoring the peace of the early hour. Then, with a rush of excitement, she remembered the events of the previous day. She sat up quickly, her eyes immediately drawn to the bracelet on the nightstand. It sparkled in the morning light,
a tangible reminder that yesterday hadn't been a dream. Rain slipped it onto her wrist, feeling a warm tingle as it settled against her skin. As she went through her morning routine, Rain found herself marveling at every little thing. The feel of the soft hotel robe against her newly feminine form, the way her long hair fell around her shoulders as she brushed it, the delicate movements of her hands as she applied her makeup. Each action was infused with a sense of rightness, of finally being in harmony with herself. Rain's phone chimed with a new message. It was from Emma, the woman who had initially reached out to her. "Good morning, Rain. I hope you're settling in well. I was wondering if you'd like to meet for coffee this morning."
There's a lovely little cafe not far from your hotel that I think you'd enjoy.
Rain's heart leapt at the invitation. She quickly typed out a reply, accepting enthusiastically. As she got dressed for the day, Rain found herself putting extra care into her appearance. She chose a flowy blouse in a soft shade of blue, pairing it with dark jeans and comfortable flats. As she looked at herself in the full-length mirror, she couldn't help but smile. The woman looking back at her was confident, feminine, and radiantly happy. The walk to the cafe was a completely different experience from her anxious wanderings of the day before. Rain strode down the sidewalk with her head held high, feeling a sense of belonging she'd never experienced before. She noticed other women on the street, their outfits, their mannerisms, no longer with envy, but with a sense of kinship. The cafe was a charming little place, with outdoor seating shaded by colorful umbrellas. Rain spotted a woman waving to her from one of the tables. This must be Emma. As Rain approached, Emma stood to greet her, enveloping her in a warm hug. "Rain, it's so wonderful to finally meet you in person." Emma was a tall woman in her 40s with streaks of silver in her dark hair and laugh lines around her kind eyes. She exuded a maternal warmth that immediately put Rain at ease. "Thank you so much for reaching out to me," Rain said as they sat down. "I can't tell you how much it meant to receive your email." Emma reached across the table and squeezed Rain's hand. "My dear, we've all been where you are. I remember how scared and alone I felt when I first began my journey. I promised myself then that I would do whatever I could to help others on the same path." As they sipped their coffee and shared pastries, Emma and Rain talked about everything. Rain's experiences, her hopes and fears, the challenges she'd faced and the ones still to come. Emma listened with understanding and offered advice and encouragement. "The road ahead won't always be easy," Emma said gently, "but I want you to know that you have a whole community behind you. We support each other, celebrate each other's victories, and help each other through the tough times." Rain felt tears welling up in her eyes. "I never thought I'd find a place where I truly belonged," she admitted. "But in just one day, this city has given me more acceptance than I've known in my entire life." Emma smiled, her eyes twinkling. "That's the magic of this place. It has a way of helping people find themselves and each other." As their coffee date came to an end, Emma pulled out a small gift bag and handed it to Rain. "A little welcome present," she explained. Inside, Rain found a beautiful scarf in shades of purple and blue. "It's gorgeous," she breathed, running her fingers over the silky fabric. "Purple has long been a color associated with our community," Emma explained. "It represents the blending of masculine and feminine, the journey we take to become our true selves." Rain immediately draped the scarf around her neck, feeling as if she were putting on a badge of honor. As they said their goodbyes, Emma pulled Rain into another hug. "Remember," she said softly, "you are valid, you are beautiful, and you are loved. Never let anyone make you feel otherwise." Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more wonderful content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.